All righty, and we are live. This is Mack Bolen. I am joined here with Rob Sherrill, and we're doing our weekly recap discussion and preview here for Illinois wrestling. A lot of stuff happened again last weekend, and Rob, let's go ahead and start off with 1A.
Okay, well, we had this is a very interesting thing. We had two very important state records set this past weekend, and the coincidences surrounding when and who and how they were set are almost as noteworthy as the records themselves. On Saturday, as of Saturday, we now have a new career pins leader in Illinois. Mm-hmm. We now have a new career technical falls leader in Illinois. Not only did those two record holders come from the same school, Belleville Aldoff, they set the records in the same event, the Quincy tournament. They set them in the same round, quarterfinals.
Great.
And they set them in the same hour, about 30 minutes apart from each other.
Gotta love it.
Unbelievable. So here's the details. At 126, two-time state champion Chase Biddle in the quarterfinals scored the 132nd pin of his career. The old record of 131 was set by Garrett Goebel of Montini, who graduated in 2008.
And we know him well.
And, of course, wrestled both in Double A and in or in A and in Double A.
Double A, right?
So Goebel had 131, and he was the previous record holder. That record stood for 9 years. Now, Biddle did go on to pin his way to the title, so he finished the tournament with 134 career pins, and he has 30 this season. So now he's going to need some help in order to challenge the single season record, which is held by the guy that gave you those tickets to the Michigan Penn State Duel. Back in the 1988-89 season when Sean Bourmet was a senior at Providence.
Shout out to Sean.
He finished that year 53-0 and he had 48 pins.
Wow.
That is and 29 years later, that's still the single season record.
That's amazing.
Looking over what the rest of Althoff's potential matches to this point, Biddle would have to advance, or Althoff would have to advance to the Elite Eight at the state duels in order for him to have a chance to challenge the record.
Is it possible?
So he is going to need some help. If they lose in the sectional, he'll come up either one or two short.
So looking at their regional and sectional assignment,
assuming he were to pin everybody from this point, which is possible because he had all falls in the state tournament last year.
Right. So team-wise, though, is it doable for them regional, sectional-wise assignment?
There is sectional-wise, it's going to be tough. They could make it. They have to get by Litchfield in the regional, which is probably doable.
Yeah.
Their opponent in the state duels, if it were Vandalia, I would say probably not, but it's not. No. They're going to have the winner in the Shelbyville regional, which is probably going to be either Monticello or Tolono Unity or Oakwood.
Okay.
And I think they will probably get past those one of those teams. So it is a possibility. But they will have to make it to the Elite Eight
Okay.
and win a match in order to
for him to have a shot.
In order for him to have a shot. And
Okay.
they will have now. I will say that if they make it to the Elite Eight, they will get an opponent in Orion that they have already beaten during the season. So it is a possibility. So we'll just have to see. So that's the first record. The other record was set by Danny Brownagle at 160.
We know the Brownagles.
Also in the quarterfinals. He said in the quarterfinals, he scored his 63rd career technical fall. The old record of 62 was held by Rudy Yates.
We know who he is.
that lasted all the 2 years.
Sandberg, yep.
So Brownagle went on to get technical falls all the way to the title. So he now has 65. He also has 28 this season. And the state record, the single season record, is 34, which was set by Nate Jaza of Argenta Oriana in the 2013-14 season. So I expect Brownagle probably will have that record by the time regionals are over. He has 28 now, so he only needs 6 more.
Well, and he's in the benefit of being a good individual and a good team.
They have the South 7 duels yet to go, and then the regional. So I expect that probably by the end of the regional, he'll not only have – he already has the career record, he will probably have the single season record as well. So interesting. 2 really important career records set there by 2 guys in the same tournament in the same round.
Gotta love it.
Minutes apart from each other, and what are the odds of that happening?
What are the odds? Yeah, well, and Brownagle's got the advantage too because he's on a good team. Not just he and his brother are both great, but they're on a good team also.
He'll need, he will add. He won't need help to establish that record. But. We also had a new number 1 in 1A with Dakota going back to the number 1 spot, and I doubt it's ever happened that a team that was held to negative points in a dual meet took over the number 1 spot the same week. But Dakota lost last Friday night to Montini. 74 to -3. To the number 1 spot because 1A against 3A, we don't care.
Yeah, of course, of course, and it's Montini. Let's face it,
that's probably something that's never happened before, and probably will never happen again.
Yeah, but again, it's Montini.
It's funny. But it's a fun stat.
It's a funny stat. But you gotta love it. The Dakota goes up against the big boys, and I love it. I love the fact that Albert does that.
Another somebody else that went up against the big boys last night was Coal City.
Yeah,
who went down the road to Washington for a duel, and it was one that was put together after the school schedules had already been done. So I didn't. Have that on my schedule, but Mark Masters said it was exactly what we needed at this point of the year. Washington wound up winning by a score of 45 to 19, but I would guess it's probably something that both schools needed at this point of the year. So I'm sure it was a meet that attracted a really good crowd and was really good for both teams. So that was those were the 1A highlights this week.
So 2A.
And 2A, couple really nice tournaments, of course, with Providence winning the Geneseo tournament once again. and with as you mentioned, Jake Lindsay,
Yes,
the
back in the lineup.
defending state champion, making his season debut at 113 and winning to help Providence to the team title. Of course, it's primarily a two-way tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The team had the best showing actually was Chatham Glenwood, which finished sixth ahead of Dixon, which was seventh, and Geneseo, which was ninth. So those three schools were very close in the team rankings and in the team standings in that tournament. And at the Mahomet Seymour tournament, the hosts finished second in that to Naperville Central, which won for the second year in a row. And Mahomet Seymour in a sort of a backyard match a couple of nights ago wrestled Mattoon and managed to squeak by 2, 33-31. And in another highlight for a double-A team, the Bloomington Normal Intercity was held on Tuesday, with Bloomington winning that for the 7th year in a row. They didn't look very good in the first round against Normal Community. They won by a 38-28 score. But in the final round, had it all going against Normal Community West, winning 54-18. So Bloomington is on a roll after winning their 7th straight intercity. And in 3A, it was Washington won the Illini Classic at Lincoln Way East. They were it was a very close race for second between Manuka and Lincoln Way West, with Manuka just edging them out there, not far ahead of St. Charles East and Lincoln Way East. So those there was because of some primarily because some dual results, a major reshuffling of the 3A standings, with Glenbard North taking it on the chin against both Barrington and Lockport.
Yeah.
At the Lockport duels, Barrington only after Lockport won by a 36-23 score. Barrington won, despite winning only 6 matches in the duel, beat Glenbard North by a point, 29-28. And I guess the key match there came at 2:20, where Jake Meyer, who they bumped up to wrestle Terry, got a takedown right at the end to get a major 15-6, and that wound up being the margin of victory. And so that really swung things in Barrington's favor in that match. So
when we had the Sandberg Super Duels in 3A.
Yeah, we did. And looks like Oak Park won all 3 there.
Yeah.
With Marmion winning a couple, including beating Sandberg in the final round of the day.
Good win for Marmion, even with that decimated team, beating Sandberg.
Yeah, looks like they're doing a good job of starting to spread their guys around a little bit.
Yeah.
I think last week or two, they've had McKenna up at 45 above Chumbley. So for a couple of matches. So they're starting to do a good job of spreading those 26 and 32 pounders around a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta say, I gotta point out Trevor Chumbley. He's really having a great season.
Yeah, it looks like he's really settled into 138, and I think he's definitely going to be a factor there. I'd be.
Oh yeah, he's a tough kid.
He could should make the state finals if it's seeded right downstate, and you never know about those things. But he's since he went to 38, he's really piled up the quality wins there. So
I mean, tough, hard-nosed kid. We both watched him wrestle a while, and he's not like, some of the names that Marmion has had in the past, but putting together right now a really, really good season.
So many of their names are injured right now. And,
well, that Marmion Academy has been bit bad. I mean, they by the diversity injury bug. I mean, it's you think about what the lineup could have been and what it's at right now, but what can you do?
Yeah, they're fighting hard. You got to give them credit for that.
Absolutely. And they're going to roll into the CCL coming up next weekend. Speaking of which, coming up next weekend, what do we got going? And let's, coming up again, go back to 1A. Go back to 1A.
Let's grab my schedule pages here. Let's see. Starting with tomorrow night, the second biggest match in the DuPage Valley takes place when Naperville Central goes to Wheaton North for a big duel there. And they've last couple of years they've kind of wrestled each other at the end of the season, and it was a big.
There we go. I got a special guest popping in here. Hey, Izzy.
All right. Hey, Andre.
Okay.
So will be at Wheaton North tomorrow night, as well as in the West Suburban Silver, Glenbard West will be at Lyons Township for a match where I think those two teams are pretty evenly matched.
Okay.
Obviously,
Izzy,
the
hang
first
tight
round
for a second. I'll get to you here in a minute. Just hang tight.
Hey. All right.
Yeah.
The first round of we've already touched on the Catholic League, but the first big round of conference tournaments takes place this weekend. In addition to the Catholic League, which of course will be at Mount Carmel.
Yes.
We have other conference tournaments that are this weekend.
Yep.
Are the public league, instead of being Friday and Saturday, will be Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
They will be at their section sites on Saturday, and the semis and the finals will be on Sunday at Chicago State. Let's throw in the Southwest Suburban is really only the quote unquote the Southwest Suburban anymore. It's now an invitational.
It's an invitational.
It's been renamed the Tom Leahy Invitational after the longtime Andrew coach, who of course coached Joe Gilbert to the 4 state titles. And in addition to the 12 teams that are in the Southwest Suburban, it will include Joliet Central and Joliet West, which used to be in the West Suburban, but are now in the Suburban Prairie with the Oswego schools and the Plainfield schools.
Right.
As well as, and Granite City is coming up, and Rock Island is coming over. So it's going to be a 16-team event now instead of just the 12 Southwest Suburban schools, and it will be a full-blown invitational.
Yep.
The Upstate 8 will be this weekend as well. At St. Charles East is going to host that. The South Suburban will be at Shepherd. The Northern Illinois Big 12 will be at Geneseo, so they'll be hosting their second big tournament in 2 weeks. The Mid-Illini tournament is going to be at Canton. The Metro Suburban Conference tournament is going to be at Riverside Brookfield.
Mm-hmm.
The Lake County tournament, which includes the Lake County schools that used to be in the Fox Valley, as well as the North Suburban Conference, all those old schools, that's going to be a 2-day tournament. It's going to be held at Antioch. The Central Suburban League is going to be at Maine West.
Yep.
And Interstate 8 will be held at Sandwich. It's a kind of a shame. Of course, the continuing conference realignment, the Northern Illinois Big 12 is breaking up. The Interstate 8 is breaking up.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the last tournament for those schools in their current configuration. So it'll be a shame, but they will continue at least this year in their current format. So I'll shut up for a minute and give our guest the floor for a minute.
Yeah. Okay. All right, there he is. Unmute yourself. Hang on.
Got it. Figured it out.
All right.
How you doing?
Good, Izzy. How's life treating you?
Going good. I'm out with the heavyweights here. Check these guys out. I am out with, I don't know how to turn this camera. There it is. I'm out with Clay Guida.
Hey, Clay. Oh, wow. This is
I don't know if you know Big Ochoa.
Oh, yeah. I see a lot of familiar faces there.
And chowing down on that burrito I saw.
Hold on.
Attaboy. I'm jealous.
Oak Park love here in the house.
Yeah.
You already know.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We got some Glenbard North love in the house over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got assistant coach from North Central College in the house right here.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
We got to feed the heavyweights.
Yeah. Well,
that's
absolutely.
Right. How's it going, guys?
Great. Okay, so Izzy,
can you guys believe this? That those coaches.
We're just laughing and scratching like usual.
Hey, can you believe this? That these coaches at the CCL seeding meeting had the nerve and the tenacity to seed Kendall Coleman number 4.
Wow.
Whose side is he on?
Of course, he's on Jake Styles' side. The good old
right.
Boys, they all
of
raise
course.
their hand, they all cheer for each other.
Oh. Well,
you guys know how it goes.
Yeah. So
who's 2 and 3?
I'm just getting the updates on my phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how's everything going with you guys? Good to hear from you guys.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I wanted to ask you, okay, now you're obviously the overwhelming favorite going into the Catholic League Championship. That's a no-brainer. 113 pounds, now with the addition of Jacob Lindsay. Your perspective, tough weight class.
Dylan Ragus is getting better every day, but he's putting in the time. Jacob Lindsay's tough. We know he's tough. We know he's got a couple tricks up his sleeve. It's just tough to, Dylan's been putting in his time, and he's been proving it. So, you know what? Jacob's the guy, and we told Dylan today, in order to be the guy, you got to beat the guy. So, it's going to be a fun weekend.
Yep. And Chicago Catholic League, right now, hands down, probably the toughest conference in the state. Last year, you guys finished runner-up to Marmion Academy. This year, coming in overwhelming favorite. But now, real quick, before Rob and I talk specifically about the Catholic League Championship, the door opened for you guys. And we're going to talk about that next week, obviously, in depth, with the Bergen Catholic win over Blair Academy.
The door opened, pretty wide for us. We had, it's like I told our team. I feel this way. I feel if we would have went in the Ironman, we would have steamrolled everybody like Blair did. You know what? We probably would have got, our egos checked at the door like they did against Bergen. I think that, Montini getting fourth at the Ironman it was a good wake-up call for us.
Sure.
It was a good wake-up call to humble us and make us focus and work even harder. And everything happens for a reason, and I firmly believe that. So, you know what? Next weekend we're headed out to PA, and we're gonna try to bring that national title back home.
Amen.
I'm going to
admitted, when we talked, you admitted you guys didn't really have a good Ironman tournament.
Well, you know what? We had a good one. We just, we had 3 guys in the finals. No one get it. Fidel Mayora got a little banged up at the event. Our heavyweight, our 220. Those guys are 82 Swire. He could have done a little bit better, but like I said, they're 2-3 weeks off the football season.
Right.
And our guys were just kind of gelling, and we got, we didn't perform to our level we could, but it was what we needed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It was a humbling experience, it's all working out.
Good, Rob. Questions?
Well, Izzy, I'm going to leave you with a thought, and I think if you win 126, you beat Bergen Catholic. If you don't, it's going to be real hard.
Yeah, most people think we're losing at 20. 26 is a tough one. They also think Pete Christensen. I mean, we got some guys, that are capable. And remember, Montini's got a couple tricks up their sleeve.
Amen.
I know you do.
A couple guys that,
Although I'm gonna tell you what, I don't. I look at your lineup and I almost think you're better off playing it straight.
Yeah, you know what? It's just we've been here before. We haven't been in a national title dual meet, but we've been in big duels before. We know what we got to do, and we're not scared to make those adjustments on the fly. So we have a couple tricks up our sleeve in case we need it. But yeah, like you said, we're going to run heads up, and hopefully it goes our way.
Well, I'll say this, and I just to throw this out there, and I think a lot of it, because you look at how a team is at the beginning of the year, and then how they progress. And from my perspective, because I saw you guys compete at the Ironman, and then I saw you guys compete at the Clash. And what I saw at the Clash was a team on the rise, and the intensity that you brought in the St. Edward duel was it was amazing. You had guys go out there and just to point out, when Bernowski went out there up against Hepner, it was like a dude who was possessed. And he goes out there and upsets a nationally ranked guy.
Dylan turned the corner today. He was working on some small things. He finally made the adjustment. He had a great practice. Like I said, this weekend's going to be a great tournament, the CCL. We're excited.
Yeah.
But we're focused on next weekend. We gotta win do the things, the little things. And I'll tell you one thing: North Bergen is not going to have all those guys screaming and yelling, and they're not going to have home field advantage. They were in a good spot to beat Blair, and this is going to be a great spot for us to beat those guys.
Yeah, you got Wyoming Sem first, and then obviously the key matchup against Bergen. Flow Wrestling is going to be broadcasting it.
I'll tell you what, Sam's going to give Blair a run for their money this weekend. And they're going to come in all fired up and try to take us out and put us in our spot that, so it's all, everything's good. We're happy. We're happy where we are. We're very grateful for the opportunity.
Just tell me for the listeners, the people watching right now, because you and I chatted about this before, you tried to kind of jump into the Flows who's number one, but they already had the schedule set, so you couldn't get in.
They let us in, we just, you can only go to 4 tournaments. And,
correct.
And we were tied up, and there was nothing we could do. But, grateful for the Bergen coach, grateful for the Sem coach. Those guys.
Absolutely.
We reached out to those guys. They said, hey, let's do it. We'll find a way to make it done. We reached out to Blair. They said their schedule was full. They just flat out turned us down. But, it is what it is. And when your schedule's full, there's nothing you could do. Same with ours going to who's number one duel. Our schedule was full. So it's all working out. We're excited.
Well, I think it's great that you were able to get into, the quad there with Wyoming Sem and Bergen and St. Edward. And actually, St. Edward is kind of a wild card in this too, because Wyoming Sem and Bergen Catholic have to face them. And they may have a chip on their shoulders after the beatdown you guys put on them.
We're ready to wrestle the team that's got, we've all been through the gauntlet. We're all kind of sore. Yep. We're all kind of dinged up. We're all kind of pissed off. And,
yep.
You know, we're all ready for next weekend, and I'm excited for it. It was good talking to you guys.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys all soon.
Thank you very much. We'll see you Saturday.
Hey,
you're the greatest, Dizzy. Thanks.
Amen.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, guys. Have fun.
All right. So that's something now, Rob. You and I will next week on the Thursday podcast.
We'll do the match by match. We'll do the whole shot.
Amen. So we got the Catholic League Championship coming up Saturday, obviously. Now we will be webcasting that. Video Infinity. We'll have Matt Oliva out there.
Yep.
So your take right now, you know, we think Montini is the overwhelming favorite, but by weight classes, who do you like?
Okay, well let's all right, I'm going to pull my chart back up here.
Sure.
Obviously at 106 we've got at 106 we have we have Sotelo of Marmion.
Yeah.
We have Drusius of Mount Carmel.
Yep.
We have Vasquez of Montini. Those guys are
probably three favorites.
Certainly going to be the top three seeds, probably in that order. I'm gonna favor I'm gonna favor Sotelo at this point.
I agree.
I guess you never based on past history. But it's certainly it's going to be a great place for Marmion to score some points, and of course, we'll see what weight Zabrauskas from De La Salle is at.
Mm-hmm.
He could be at 106. He could be at 113. We'll just have to see what happens there. So, certainly. We got four pretty strong guys going there at 106. Heading back to 113. Obviously, we have Ragusa. We have Ragusa and Lindsay. We have Jaffe.
Yep.
That's a great top three to start off there.
Too.
And with Miss, that makes it a great top four. So probably those are the four guys in the mix. There's we have a couple of AA guys in the hunt with Ricky Young from De La Salle, with Zach Rotkovich from St. Rita.
Mm-hmm.
So if Zabrauskas and Young are down to weight, those two guys are going to have something to say about it. Moving on to 120, of course, Melendez is who everybody's talking about. Rehan Uribe, of course, from Mount Carmel, is in there. Be interesting to see who I guess Walter Green has settled into 120 for Marmion. He's a freshman, who's had his moments. So we'll see what he can bring to the table. And as far as of course Tommy and can't leave out Tommy Russell of St. Rita, Hassan Johnson for Brother Rice.
Right, Johnson.
So we're talking probably those two guys maybe in the semifinal on the other side of Melendez. So we'll see what happens there. So that's a pretty well stocked weight class.
Yeah.
And so there we'll have some. So we'll have some fun there for sure. And I don't think so that kind of does it for at 120. At 126, we'll have, of course, Bernowski and Gaynor on the 3A side. Callaway from Marmion, and of course, in and heading over to Double A, not a whole lot there. That's pretty much a three-man weight. Of course, and Steffes from Bishop Mack, who is in the top 10 in 1A, will also be a factor there. So those are your that's your big four at
126.
At 126, assuming assuming Steffes is down at weight.
Right.
Real Woods,
32, yeah.
Sean, Fleck of Marmion is settled into 132.
Yeah.
So we have him as part of the mix there. And switching over to my Double A board here. Not a whole lot there, and nor does Bishop Mack have a guy there. So that's probably all we've got at 32. It beats up again at 38 a little bit with Chumbly and Mayora, and of course they have an overtime match in their past. Ambrose from Providence, of course. So we have three really strong guys there, and then of course in Jake Valoria, the freshman from St. Rita, of course, he's beaten, and depending on what weight, whether Aguilar of Fenwick goes 138 or 145, looks like I still have him at 45. So, no, I'm sorry, he is at 38. So if Aguilar is at 38, that'll make it a little bit more crowded.
Yep.
And then Jacob Ramirez, state qualifier from Bishop Mack, a couple times at 138. So that's a pretty deep weight class, 138.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Heading up 45, of course, we've already heard about some of the drama with Coleman and Styles.
Yep, both nationally ranked.
Throw Ramos into that mix. I'm sure he's opposite them.
Yeah.
And so of course we got Cloherty from Loyola in the mix. He's probably the other guy on the other side, Sean Cloherty from Loyola. So that's a pretty decent weight class there. And that's not a strong weight for St. Rita.
No.
Or Brother Rice. So nor is it one for Bishop Mack. So we're talking about those four guys at 45. Will Lewan, of course, at 52.
Sure.
Prohibitive favorite.
Yeah.
Have of course, we have Countryman from Providence at 52. Mason Sauceda from Bishop Mack. A couple times state place winner. He'll be in the mix. He'll be certainly be on the other side from Lewan to go into this. And of course, those guys are the are 52 at 160. Cole Smith of Providence, Matt Ortiz of Montini, round 2. That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
And some, and of course, this is a good weight for Brother Rice with Dominic Murphy, the state qualifier. He'll probably be on Ortiz's side, and so that's your action there at 160. Heading on to 170, the fast improving Anthony Geraci will be there along with I don't know. I guess we'll probably not going to see any of Marmion's guys at that weight.
Yeah.
Probably too soon for them.
Yeah.
But we have, of course, we also have Gliva from Paul Gliva from Brother Rice in the mix there, and Ryan Raditz from St. Rita. So a couple of AA guys have a shot to be in the finals there. At 182, Trevor Swire of Montini.
Yep.
Tyler Surgis of Marmion, if he doesn't go 195, will be there. And you have Aiden Flaherty of Fenwick, state qualifier. And so that's your group at 82. Christensen of Montini at 195, and pretty much it there. Of course, at 220 will be good, of course, with Kaminsky from Fenwick.
Kaminsky from Fenwick, yes.
And Logan Anderson from Providence. And I don't know what. So that'll be a good final there.
Yeah, I think Kaminsky, tough kid.
Heavy, of course, you have Miles Ruffin from Brother Rice,
right?
And kid that's another two-way kid that's coming on the radar, Jerry Carey of St. Lawrence, who was fourth at the Muhammad tournament and made his way onto the two-way board, and of course, then you would have Mick Nicholas from Montini there. So,
and McNicholas, I gotta say, for a guy who's like a 2-year wrestler, has really did a good job.
Right. Sure. Not a whole lot in the upper weights at the Catholic League, but boy, through 160, it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will be broadcasting the Chicago Catholic League Championship. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get the semifinals in. For sure, we're going to get the finals in. But this will be webcasted. Check Illinois Matmen. Look for the link that'll be posted. And, that's obviously right now the toughest conference in the state. And you're looking at a lot of guys there that are not just, highly ranked in the state, but highly ranked in the national scene. Rob, so who do you think, gut instinct? Obviously, Montini's going to win it. I don't see anybody challenging Montini for first, but who do you think has a shot for second? Who do you think is the best bet, Mount Carmel or
right now? I'm going to say that I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Providence finishes second. Okay. I like the way I just like the way they're trending. I think they have they won't have they've got points at 113.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have points at
yeah.
They'll be strong at 138, 145, 152.
Mm-hmm.
They should win. They should be in the finals at 220. I don't know if they have Mount Carmel's depth, but I just don't see Mount Carmel in the upper weights where you can really pile up those pinpoints. Having enough high placers really to to make a difference. Of course, I left out Smith for Providence at 160.
Right.
So 160, 152, 145 through the middle, they're going to be really good. 38, 38. With Lindsay and with Anderson.
And Ramos.
I think they're going to, I think that's 6 weights where they can really make some hay. I think it's going to be close between Mount Carmel and Providence for second. I just don't know if Mount Carmel is going to score big points at enough weights.
And so you think Marmion fourth?
Yeah, I do. I think again they're sort of in the same boat as Mount Carmel, especially in the upper weights. If they could, they get some points from Surges, if they get some points from Bazookas at 220, who knows? But they'll need for all the guys in the middle to score, in order to get above fourth place. I think.
Sure, and in Marmion, we all know that the adversity, the injuries that they faced. I mean, but the individuals they will be putting into this tournament, a lot of those guys will definitely place high.
A few other things going on.
Yep.
On Saturday, we have the Downers Grove South Super Duels with Plainfield South, Lake Park, Lyons Township, and Rockford East all at Downers South. The Big 12 Super Duels are going on at Peoria, Notre Dame, which I think Bloomington will probably make the biggest impact there. Nice group of duels at Olney, Richland County, where I think Litchfield is going to round into shape against Lawrenceville, East St. Louis, Mascouda, Robinson, a few other teams. I think they got their eyes on Althoff in the regional right now, and looking to see where they can. Good quad at Petersburg Port on Saturday with Vandalia, Warsaw, and Beardstown coming in, and a couple of things going on in midweek next week. Next week, of course, is the last week of the regular season. We have a lot of conference duels going on. The Heart of Illinois duels going on at Gibson City on Tuesday and at Leroy on Saturday, and the Okaw Valley duels going on at St. Joseph Ogden on Monday, and as well at Argena on Friday, and so it's just looking over a couple of other things. Next Tuesday, Prairie Central and Monticello are going to be at Tolono. 3 top 25 teams in 1A there. At a big double duel next Wednesday at Sherrard with Erie and Orion coming in, and let's see, and those are kind of the the highlights next week. Also, Manuka is going to be at Plainfield South for the biggest duel of the Suburban Prairie. That's going to be taking place next Thursday. And after the Chicago Catholic League, next Thursday, Providence at Mount Carmel.
Which is that's a biggie.
For their rivalry.
That's a biggie. Because they just wrestle varsity.
It could come down to the last match.
Yep, they only wrestle varsity at that duel, and they do lights, they do introductions. That's always a great one to finish the season up.
Right. They always do that after the Catholic League, and it's always kind of brings the curtain down on the regular season there. So we'll look at so those will be some. I tell you, we're coming down to the end here.
Absolutely. And just to remind everybody now, next week we'll do our recap, but we will do, because it has a national flavor to it, we will do an in-depth on the quad out there in Pennsylvania. The Wyoming Sem is hosting, because, Montini's got a shot, if they can pull it off, to be the #1 team in the country. And that's a big thing. It will be broadcast on Flow Wrestling. If you don't have a subscription, you can't see it. If you do have a subscription, you can watch it. And then, Rob, go ahead. Let our viewers know, what your weekly publications are, what you got going on.
We're less than a month away now from the state tournament, and if you want to whet your appetite for the state tournament, if you want to go to www.centermatpress.com, you can order the sequel to Tales from the Mat, the book that I published in 2012. It's called Beyond Tales from the Mat, so you can go beyond Tales from the Mat. It's got recaps of all the state tournaments since 2012. If you order the full edition, it's 95 pages. It's a PDF that we'll send to you, and it's only $4.95. So you can't beat the price. You can pay. You can pay for it. There's a PayPal link right on that page. Just go to Beyond Tales from the Mat. And, of course, we're going to have a 2018 update after 2018 is over. But if you want to relive, for instance, Lockport's run to the state title last year, and get yourself ready for some great state action this year, go to centermatpress.com and order Beyond Tales from the Mat. You'll be glad you did.
And your WINs?
Win Magazine is coming out with we had a brand new issue go to press today. Of course, I've been the high school editor for a long time. You will see our new individual and team rankings in there. Now, the individual rankings, I'll spoiler alert, cut off after the Clash. But that'll give us a chance for the next issue down the road, which is in early February, to update it with a month's worth of information. And there are not going to be a whole lot of changes because I think we got it right this time. But it's going to be interesting to see how who's #1. And by the way, this let's throw out the event name and give Wyoming Seminary a plug.
Amen.
This event, the next week is called the My House Melee.
Yeah,
it's called the My House Melee, and I have the schedule right here. We'll talk about this in depth next week.
Sure,
but these are the matches that are going on next Friday night and Saturday.
Huge.
And for more in-depth stuff, check out Wyoming Seminary Wrestling's Facebook page and like it, and you will get all the updates. I've liked it for a long time, and I got to give Scott Green a lot of credit. He's a great guy to work with. You want to talk about a guy that that posts all the news that's fit to print. He does it. But just to whet your appetite, next Friday, these times are all Eastern, so subtract an hour for our time. 5:30 p.m. Blair Academy against Easton, Pennsylvania, 1 round. Following that, approximately 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, Wyoming Seminary wrestles Easton, Pennsylvania, and Blair Academy wrestles St. Ed's. That's the Friday night action. So that gets your appetite going for Saturday morning. And here's what happens Saturday. 10 in the morning Eastern. So subtract an hour for Central Time. 2 rounds. St. Ed's wrestles Bergen Catholic. Wyoming Seminary wrestles Montini. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern. At noon Eastern, after it's over, Montini wrestles Bergen Catholic. Wyoming Seminary wrestles St. Ed's. So that will be Montini's 2 matches. And 1 round at 2 o'clock to finish off the My House Melee. Actually 2 rounds. 1 round of men's wrestling. Wyoming Seminary will wrestle Bergen Catholic at 2. And on the other mat, the Wyoming Seminary girls team will wrestle the girls team Canada in a freestyle match. That'll be a freestyle match. So,
very good.
We'll have the guys on one mat and the girls on the other mat at 2 o'clock. But that's what you can expect in the My House Melee at Bergen Catholic next Friday night and Saturday.
And the thing is, because we want to see, the Illinois wrestling guys, successful, exceed, win. So next Thursday, we'll do a little bit of a breakdown. Montini's going to go up against Wyoming Sem, who they finished a half a point behind at the Ironman.
And they each placed 7.
Bergen Catholic.
They each placed 7, so it couldn't have been closer.
Very close. And then Bergen Catholic, which I'll be honest, I did not think Bergen Catholic would beat Blair Academy, but they did. They got Bergen Catholic. They got 4 huge wins that I did not expect them to get. No. I agree.
They didn't just pull 1 upset.
No, they pulled a bunch.
4 upsets.
And
they needed every one of them. To get that, to get that win. So,
and the great irony in it is that they opened the door for Montini.
Yeah, they did.
And so, I credit, again, we talked to Izzy earlier, but I credit them for trying to jump in and get shoehorned into this event, because now this gives them an opportunity. If they can beat Wyoming Sem and beat Bergen Catholic, they're there.
Right. Well, and we'll go into more detail on
absolutely
how that match went down when we do our preview next week, because some of those guys are guys that Montini wrestled in the Ironman as well. So
yes. And one thing I'll say, and I said it before earlier, the Montini team I saw at the Ironman was not the same team I saw at the Clash. And when they came out against St. Edward, it looked like a totally different team. And I'll also say St. Edward is a wild card in this, because they have a strong lineup. They've got a lot of quality guys in there. It'll be interesting to see how they do against Bergen Catholic and Wyoming Sem. So that is it. We're going to wrap it up now. I hope you guys enjoyed our webcast. Again, we appreciate any of your comments, any criticism, anything you want to see more of or you want to hear, anybody in particular, teams, etc. Please, by all means, like us, comment, let us know. We're here for you guys. We're here to support Illinois wrestling, and we'll be back next Thursday, which should be a really good one. This is Mack Bolen. I'm here with Rob Sherrill. And again, we'll be live webcasting Chicago Catholic League Championship Saturday, maybe semifinals, for sure the finals. So check it out.